Hi, Libra Sun and Rising. Welcome to your April 2024 Astro Update. It's Rena here. Wow. When I did March's forecast, I thought, I had done everything. And I knew there was an eclipse in April, but I thought to myself, well, there's a Mercury retrograde that's covering a big portion of the month, so it's probably going to be uneventful because I actually hadn't, listed all of the major transits as I do every month before I do these readings. And when I compiled my list for the month, I was like, wow, this really is something. So let's just start from the beginning, okay? Because right on the first of the month, April Fool's Day, Mercury goes retrograde. So let's see if Mercury plays a trick on us about something. This is going to be at 27 degrees of Aries, and it's very important that I note that because Aries is your opposite sign, and that rules the house that you rule in astrology, which is the seventh house of committed partnership, as well as other one-on-one relationships, as well as legal matters. So this is going to be very featured in this particular month of April because not only do we have the usual suspects, these planets that go into Aries, but we also have Chiron has been in Aries for years. So Chiron has been in that seventh house for you for a long time. And also we have the longer range things going on. We have eclipses, and so I'm recording this, and I mean in Aries and also in your sign, and I'm recording this in March, a few weeks before the eclipse in your sign on March 25th. That is a lunar eclipse, and when that happens, it will oppose the sun. So the sun will be in that seventh house on March 25th. So there you go. There's another example of seventh house activity. But I was also talking about Jupiter having been there for a year. Now Jupiter is in Taurus, but Jupiter recently had been in your sign, in your opposite sign. And so there's just a lot going on in this particular area. So Mercury is retrograding here. There could be something to do with a legal matter where there isn't the ability to sign a document that you need to sign. And this could even be a marriage certificate. So I'm not saying that you have a relationship on the rocks necessarily, but some people may have that because of other factors. People are always getting married and divorced and living with their significant other and moving out. So it's just like part of life. Even for Libra people who want relationship more than anything, it still happens. So it can be a legal document for anything. Mercury can be papers, like documents. It could be some kind of misunderstanding with your spouse or with the place you're going to get married. You don't have, or your marriage license. Maybe you're just going to a justice of the peace. Something goes haywire. On the 4th of the month, Venus goes into this area. You're going to hear me say these different things. Now, you already have the sun in that house, you have Mercury in that house, you have Chiron in that house, and now Venus, the ruler of the seventh in astrology, your ruler, going into its own domain. Venus in the seventh smooths the waters that are kind of choppy. So anything that is not quite how you want it can be a little bit better, a little bit more improved, and it can make you feel like things are not going to hell in a handbasket if Mercury is wreaking havoc. And who knows? Maybe it will be one of those Mercury retrogrades that we barely notice. I'm sure that would vary from person to person. But I have had some like that. And I've had some crazy, sequence of, malfunctions, including with equipment, which is supposed to be attributed to Mercury retrograde. And it wasn't a Mercury retrograde. So, such is life. This can be money from some kind of a lawsuit that you either the judgment is in and you get it, but maybe on a future date you're going to actually get the money, or you do get the money right away. Who knows? On the 8th, we have a solar eclipse at 19 degrees of Aries. So there again. So this is so highlighted for you. A solar eclipse is a powerful new moon. Hey, if you're thinking of getting married, of course, you'd be getting married during a Mercury retrograde, but maybe that's a good thing. Gives you a little bit of wiggle room. I think that, I don't know what day of the week is that. It just sounds like a cool idea. But anyway, anything that promotes 7th house activities. By the way, the 7th house is also the house of public relations. So if you have a business, or you as an individual is promoting yourself in some way, this could be a major breakthrough in that. And I would not just say, oh, on the 8th, this is happening, because even in March, you may have some cause for this to be relevant in your life, where this is manifesting, and even going on into May and beyond. I think that how I would characterize the time frame is at least a month before and a month afterwards. But I've heard different things from different astrologers. So the point is that this time frame, this eclipse season, can be a time where things kind of leapfrog ahead, where because eclipses kind of jolt us out of our everyday existence and present, fated events that are meant to take us to the next level. They're meant to propel us out of our comfort zones. And by doing so, we choose new things that are actually what we're meant to be doing. But, sometimes people have all kinds of dreams and things that they want to do, but they stay where they are because the change that would have to be enacted by going after those dreams, even if it would mean that they would be happier, and even if it means that they don't like their job or whatever, their life, or where they live, they don't like these things, but they're just so comfortable where they are. And sometimes we need to feel uncomfortable, and these eclipses may produce that, might create some kind of a crisis or some sort of catalyst to force us into action. Now, as somebody who reads my own chart, I can tell you that I have had very seemingly significant eclipses seeming to amount to nothing. Why is that? It's probably because of the way that I am interpreting it for myself and not including other possibilities. Because, truth be told, just because you interpret your chart or you interpret somebody else's chart doesn't mean that you're encompassing every known possibility. Life is vast. And so even with astrology, the potentials are unlimited. And so anyway, that's just something that you have to keep in mind, that this could be a very exciting period for you, especially if you have been trying to make a name for yourself. On the 19th, the sun goes into Taurus. Now, this is when we start to get into 8th house stuff, okay? 8th house in astrology is the sign after you, Scorpio. And so this is the house of death. Death is not just physical death. It's transformation. It's personal alchemy. So transformation that seemingly occurs from the outside onto you, but also that you undertake very consciously to, experience something in a different way, maybe to let go of something. This is definitely the house of letting go, or that's another aspect of death, endings, transitions. But also the phoenix rising from the ashes. So rebirth, yeah, rebirth too. So anyhow, you may notice just year by year that in the second half of April every year that you feel a lot more intense emotionally, because this is a water house, and the emotions, this is a shadow emotions, and all of this stuff beneath the surface. And I think that Libra people and air signs in general they want to float above in the air. They don't want the density of emotions in general, unless they're very lighthearted. But anything that is heavy can feel oppressive, and it's not something that you choose to do. And I don't fault Libra people for that, because I honestly, I think some people rather like kind of brooding and, resenting and all of those things that people do when they are emotionally stuck and when they are living in the past. But Libra, in order to evolve, has to be able to face those demons. And this is important for all of our evolution as individuals, because we can't just have the light, we have to face the dark. And there are Libra people that will swear up and down that they never get angry, that they don't have any resentments towards people. And it's probably a lie, but it's not a conscious lie. I don't believe it's a conscious lie, because Libra doesn't realize that they are absolutely enraged by somebody. And that would be the worst thing to them, is to be angry. Libra is about being a peacemaker, but it's funny, I get so agitated by Libras sometimes because of their need for peace. They make me like rageful. But anyway, yeah, so the sun goes there on the 19th, and then the very next day, Jupiter forms a conjunction with Uranus. Actually, Jupiter and Uranus are going to be within orb before and after this official date of the 20th, but apparently this is when it becomes exact. So this is going to be at 21 degrees of Taurus, and on the 21st, people probably in Europe, I don't know, but I did see it mention the 21st as well. So that's probably for people outside the United States. But Jupiter and Uranus, very interesting conjunction. A lot of astrologers are oohing and eyeing about it. As far as I can see, it's like a lottery type of a vibe, where it's both of these planets are about freedom, and Jupiter can actually have a connection to money. So abundance. Jupiter is associated with luck. Uranus is associated with out of the blue things happening, unpredictable things. So if you combine the two, you get unpredictable money. This is a money house, the 8th house, by the way, Libra. So this is shared resources, other people's money. You do have this, Mercury retrograde in the 7th house. So that could be a legal matter that is still underway, that still has not been resolved. And then in the 8th house, you have this conjunction where it's like, this might be a stretch, but I'm just going to give you this example. Maybe you're haggling over like one inheritance, and you find out there's another one that you never expected from some long lost relative. It really could be like winning the jackpot. Oh, and maybe even more the case, it could be having to do with stocks, because this is what the eighth house would be, more money that is not necessarily that you're earning, but through investments. I assume that stocks still split. I haven't seen any news about this happening, so I don't know personally, but I'm assuming that still happens when they double in value or something like that. I'm not, well versed in the stock market, and so I don't know how that works, but something where it was unexpected. Maybe you bought a penny stock and it just like goes crazy or something. But so this could have a financial surprise attached to it. It could also be something spiritual because Uranus could be connected to the Kundalini, and Jupiter is more to me about the ethics of religion and the organized religion. So if you have been following certain practices like pranayama, which is also known as breath work, and some people try to consciously raise their kundalini, which is not necessarily a wise thing. You have to research that. There's a lot of spontaneity associated with kundalini activation. But Jupiter, to me, gives this influence of, and in the eighth house, anything to do with metaphysics. So if you have been somebody who has been more traditional in your belief systems, this can take it to a new level, because the eighth house is more like the occult, and it can include astrology and the tarot. And Uranus is kind of far out and non-traditional itself. Okay, so on the 23rd, a full moon this is 3 days later, we're having a full moon at 4 degrees of Scorpio, which is hilarious because, Scorpio's the ruler of the eighth house, so it almost seems like it's a continuation of that. But in your particular chart, Libra, Scorpio is the is your second house. So this again could have some, it could have something to do with money. And, I do have to say that this is a general reading. So this isn't going to be true for 100% of you by a long shot. You might have it in a different house because of your particular rising sign or the degree of your sun sign. So I just do one time. I try not to go. I try to get cute and do multiple possibilities, but it just confuses me. So I'm just going to stick to the standard reading. If you would like a private reading with me, looking at your natal chart and looking at the transits, you can click on the link below for that. But yeah, so this full moon could bring money too. So this could be a good money month for you. And I think because it is in Scorpio, there's a possibility that may be money that isn't yours, even though technically the second house is supposed to be the money that you earn. I have experienced a transit where Jupiter was in the second house, and it was not. I received what was a significant amount of money for me compared to what I had had at other times in my life, and it wasn't money that I worked for. So just keep that in mind. But there could be something, and it's only a few days after that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, so there may be some money coming to you. It might even be through, I normally would say with this, that it might be like a raise or a bonus. For some people, if you are disenchanted with your work, this could be leaving a job, because actually in March, I'm recording this a couple of days before the new moon in Pisces, and that will be in your 6th house of work. So perhaps this is all part of a bigger plan for you to be working someplace else for some of you. On the 25th, Mercury goes direct at 16 degrees of Aries, and so those matters that I was referring to earlier should sort themselves out. On the 29th, Venus goes into Taurus. So Venus, which is associated with money, goes into that 8th house of other people's money. That could enhance the possibility of receiving money. You may already have. This might be a different situation where you're getting money from different angles. But it can also be intimacy with a partner. Like you're really not just having a superficial relationship, you're really having almost like a soulmate relationship with them. Or you meet somebody that is like soulmate material. On the 30th, Mars goes into Aries. So Mars goes into that 7th house. And I should have said that the 8th house is the house of intimacy. And people automatically think of sex, but with Venus, maybe it's possible that it can be the physical type of intimacy, but it could be something that is where you're finally with somebody that you really feel a strong bond with, and it feels so different than it has before. And Mars going into the 7th house, in that particular case, may be that you're really having a lot of, like they would say I think it was the honeymoon, or no, the newlywed game. And they'd say making whoopee. And Mars is the sex drive, so it can just be like very heated. There can be conflict with Mars in the 7th with a partner, like you're butting heads. It can be a legal matter where it's heating up and everybody's got their claws out, so that's a possibility. That isn't something that you would be really thrilled about, because you're the kind of person that would rather have peace rather than some kind of conflict, but it may be, it is what it is, if that's what it is. And it could, if it is something like that, it could lead to you breaking free from a situation that is not really what you want. And maybe you just have to go through a little bit of conflict to get your freedom back. All right, that's what I have for you, Libra. Like I said, it is a very busy month, and I think that Libra individuals and Aries individuals are going to really feel this. We shall see, won't we? If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.